Welcome to the channel, folks. This is the most important stimulus check information that you want to know, so be sure to stay until the end of this video. So Nancy Pelosi is now worried about the new important changes that lawmakers are making to Biden's spending bill.
For being there for the American people. It's quite a remarkable thing. Good morning, everyone. It is always an honor to sign legislation passed by the House of Representatives and the Senate to be sent over to the President of the United States to make a difference in the lives of the American people. This particular legislation is legislation to keep government open for the people. It's really regretful that all the work that has gone into it and all the negotiations that have gone into it.
Biden's climate and social spending plan is facing an overhaul in the Senate, where Democrats are splitting with their House counterparts on key provisions. The House Democrats stress that they are in agreement on large parts of the bill, and Senate Democrats are not being shy about outlining how the plan will change once again. Who is to blame for holding back our stimulus check, everybody? Is it the Democrats or the Republicans? I want to know your thoughts on this.
This is a matter of when, not if. They'll get this done. They just need to get consent to do it quickly and move some things around the edges. There's the issue of the debt limit. They have to raise that to prevent a catastrophic economic meltdown. The temperature on this one has cooled quite a bit. Chuck Schumer, the Democrat, and Mitch McConnell.
Now, any changes in the Senate will force the bill to go back into the House, where they'll have to decide if they can live with the updated draft. In addition to policy splits between House and Senate Democrats, details of the bill also need to pass muster with the Senate parliamentarian. Republicans are able to force amendment votes during a floor debate, where they could get changes into the bill if they are able to peel off one Democratic senator. And now there are 5 places where the bill is expected to be changed. First thing is Medicare. Progressives are hoping to broaden Medicare's expansion once the bill comes to the Senate floor. Biden acknowledged that expanding Medicare to cover all 3 would be a reach.
Today's historic drop in unemployment rate includes dramatic improvements for workers who have often seen higher wages and higher levels of unemployment. They are receiving higher wages. And the rate of Black and Hispanic unemployment is also dropping sharply. But that's not just jobs that are up. Wages are up, especially for hardworking Americans, often ignored in the past, in past recoveries. Workers in transportation and warehouses have seen their wages go up approximately 10% this year. Workers in hotels and restaurants have seen their wages go up 13% this year. And thanks to the American Rescue Plan, we've delivered significant tax cuts to families raising children. Tax cuts and raising wages for middle-class families.
And Democrats initially discussed scaling down the dental coverage to a voucher program to offset costs before dropping the idea altogether. Chuck Schumer announced that he had reached a deal to allow Medicare to negotiate prescription prices in limited instances, prevent prescription companies from raising prices faster than inflation, and cap out-of-pocket costs for seniors. Now, paid leave, everybody, could also be changed. The House includes $200 billion for 4 weeks of paid family leave and medical leave, starting in 2024, which Democrats view as a necessary first step because the United States is one of the few developed countries to not approve paid leave. But the program faces challenges in the Senate, where Joe Manchin has pushed back over its inclusion, arguing that Congress should work on a bipartisan bill separate from the Democratic spending package. House and Senate Democrats also split over how to tackle making changes to the state and local deduction cap, also known as SALT.
We'll vote to raise the debt ceiling. The Democratic Party should
Senator,
raise it
I don't mean to interrupt
all
you.
the spending by themselves.
But the Republican Party said they wouldn't do it in September, up till the last 2 days, and then Mitch and 10 other Republicans caved like a cheap suit.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen again for a lot of reasons, and keep this tape and see if I'm wrong. But yeah, so tonight was about funding the government, but you're the only guy in the whole town talking about the fraud that's the Build Back Better bill. This is a complete fraud. This bill doesn't cost $1.6 trillion over 10 years. It costs $4.7 or $4.8 trillion.
Bernie Sanders is pitching a strategy, keeping a $10,000 limit in place, but exempting those who make under $400,000. 3 weeks from tomorrow will be a little different than the last several tranches of payments. That's if it's sent out. For one thing, this will be the last batch of child tax credits for 2021. For most people, the checks have totaled a few $100s at most. That brings us to another thing that will be different about the checks coming on December 15th. Thank you again for your support, everybody. If you have any more questions about the fourth stimulus check, be sure to leave them in the comments below.
Every year, December brings the joys of the holiday season and gives us an opportunity to reflect on the year gone by and look ahead and begin to imagine the new year to come. This year, we can reflect on an extraordinary bit of progress. Our economy is markedly stronger than it was a year ago, and today, the incredible news that our unemployment rate has fallen to 4.2%. At this point in the year, we're looking at the sharpest one-year decline in unemployment ever. Simply put, America is back to work, and our jobs recovery is going very strong. Today's historic drop in unemployment rate includes dramatic improvements for workers who have often seen higher wages and higher levels of unemployment. They are receiving higher wages. And the rate of Black and Hispanic unemployment is also dropping sharply. But that's not just jobs that are up. Wages are up, especially for hardworking Americans, often ignored in the past and past recoveries. Workers in transportation and warehouses have seen their wages go up approximately 10% this year. Workers in hotels and restaurants have seen their wages go up 13% this year. And thanks to the American Rescue Plan, we've delivered significant tax cuts to families raising children. Tax cuts and raising wages for middle-class families mean that Americans, on average, have more in their pockets today than they did each month since we've been in office, than they did last year after accounting for inflation. Let me repeat that. Even after accounting for rising prices, the typical American family has more money in their pockets than they did last year. In fact, we're the only leading economy in the world where household income and the economy as a whole are stronger than they were before the pandemic. Applications for new small businesses are up 30% compared to before the pandemic. Thanks to the American Rescue Plan, we're cutting child poverty in America by more than 40%, and millions of children who spent last Christmas in poverty will not bear that burden this holiday season. Today's news means that unemployment rate has now fallen by more than 2 percentage points since I took office. That's the fastest decline in a single year on record, and it's about 3 times faster than any other president in their first year in office. The number of people claiming unemployment has fallen from 18 million when I took office to 2 million this week, another record drop. We've also learned today that in November, 235,000 jobs were created in the private sector. And when they went back and recalibrated, they found the last 2 months, they found that job growth over the prior 2 months, September and October, actually created 82,000